Hi everyone, good morning. Mayde Gomez here. I'm at the PG&E service yard here in Sacramento. Came out here because I wanted to get some questions answered regarding the potential shutoffs tomorrow Wednesday morning at 4 a.m. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Brandy Merlot. She is a rep for PG&E and she's got all the answers that we all want to know. So let me turn this around actually this way. Brandy, so currently where do we stand?
Yes, so right now we're anticipating shutting off power to more than 600,000 customers across nearly 30 counties in Northern and Central California.
So I've got a list here of some questions that that we definitely wanted to ask. So some folks are asking, why are more suburban cities having their power shut off?
So we base a lot of our information on the CPUC high fire threat map, Tier 2 and Tier 3. So there are actually some of those areas in Tier 2 and Tier 3. So we're really looking at what areas are going to be impacted by the wind and what areas have the most potential.
So what happens once the power is shut off?
Yeah, so when the power is shut off, we have to then go patrol the lines after we get the weather all clear. So we'll send crews out in helicopters and vehicles and on foot to patrol those lines, make any repairs to any damage they find, and turn the power back on as soon as it's safe to do so.
So how do we know when the power is being shut off?
So we've started alerting customers of the potential for a public safety power shutoff. We like to give them about 48 hours notice. We'll work to get, again, to notify customers about 24 hours before and then about an hour before we actually shut the power off.
And how do you determine when you turn the power back on?
So we'll have to wait for our meteorological department to give us a weather all clear when it's safe to send our crews out and send our helicopters out to go do those patrols.
So some are asking, why now?
Yeah, so we've seen, significant weather impacts and significant fire behavior over the last few years, and we're really doing this program as part of our larger community wildfire safety program to reduce the risk of wildfires across our state and keep our communities safe.
So we understand there's that potential to have over 600 customers having their power shut off tomorrow. You also mentioned that the power could be shut off up to 5 days. Why so long?
Yeah, so we let customers know to be prepared to be without power for potentially 24 to 48 hours after the weather all clears. So that would be after the weather event has occurred. So really that's because we need to go out and inspect all the lines that we shut off to ensure they're safe before we turn them back on.
And how does PG&E help? Are you guys helping schools, hospital, residents in need at this time?
So we're working with a variety of our customers. We're working with counties, cities, first responders, Cal OES to make sure customers are aware of what's going on. We're specifically doing extra outreach to our medical baseline customers so that they're aware. And we're really making sure that people are aware of this program and aware of what's going on so that they can enact their safety plan.
So obviously we know that schools, hospitals are also affected. Do you prioritize when you turn power back on to certain schools, certain areas?
We look at the power impact by the circuit. So we work to patrol those circuits as fast as we can and in the order so that we can restore everyone further down the line. So we want to make sure we're appropriately inspecting and looking at the lines and then restoring customers as it's safe to do so.
Do you recommend people getting generators for their homes?
Yes, absolutely. We have a whole bunch of information, tools, and tips that customers can use at pge.com/wildfire safety when they could be potentially impacted by a public safety power shutoff. One of the things, if customers can't afford it, we would recommend them getting generation. But we want to make sure they install it safely if they do.
Right. When you say that, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so if it's installed incorrectly, it can backfeed into the system and potentially harm our employees that are working on the lines. So we want to make sure that customers that get any sort of generation ensure that they have had a licensed electrician kind of look at it and make sure that things are installed safely.
What's the number one thing you would ask people to do during these shutoffs?
Yeah, certainly make sure their contact information is up to date and make sure their emergency plan is up to date. They have some supplies available to them and they're prepared to be without power for potentially 24 to 48 hours.
Now, I know folks wanted to know, will people still be charged during the outage?
No, there's no electricity being used during the public safety power shutoff, so there will be no charges to customers during that time.
Also, what's the likelihood? I know right now we're kind of waiting to see what happens tomorrow, but what's the likelihood of that shut off tomorrow at 4 a.m.?
Right now we're making plans and we're anticipating a shut off to more than 600,000 customers in nearly 29 or nearly 30 counties across northern and central California. So we're making those crews available. We've got 35 helicopters and more than 700 crews ready to restore or inspect those areas as we deem necessary.
And so I've got some questions here from some of our viewers. I know Clarence Dickerson as well as Sylvia Bond are asking, why are these lines not underground?
Yeah, so undergrounding is certainly not a panacea to this problem. Undergrounding is subject to its own vulnerabilities, including earthquakes, flooding, lightning strikes. We're looking at this as a long-term plan and how we're going to harden our system overall. So we're looking at undergrounding lines in some areas where it makes sense to do so, but we're also looking at replacing wooden poles with non-wood material and coated power lines in some other areas.
Somebody else is asking, what are customers supposed to do when they have medicine equipment, they can't afford to get a generator or an electrician to their home?
Yeah, we definitely encourage customers to make sure they have backup plans if they have any medical devices or any medication that needs refrigeration. So certainly, we've been communicating with them to work on their emergency plans, and we hope that they enact them.
And then I also noticed that earlier this morning there was a problem with your website.
Yeah, so we apologize for that. We are working on getting that. There was a lot of traffic to the website, so we're certainly working on making sure that it can accommodate more visits.
So without power. Okay. Anything else you would want people to know?
Most importantly, I think people should ensure that their contact information is up to date. We're really looking to reach out to those customers that are potentially impacted and let them know of what's going on.
Sounds good. So again, just to rephrase for those who are just now starting to watch, can you tell us again tomorrow morning what you're anticipating?
Yeah, right now we're anticipating shutting off power to nearly 600,000 customers across northern and central California due to some wind event that's being forecasted starting Wednesday morning through Thursday afternoon.
What's the likelihood of that happening? Because I know you say potentially anticipating, but what's the likelihood of it actually happening?
We're making plans right now to be prepared for that, but we're still waiting. The weather forecast is obviously dynamic and can change, so we want to make sure we're shutting off power when we need to.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you so much.
You.
I'm going to turn this around. So again, guys, tomorrow PG&E is anticipating that they may be shutting power off to over 650,000 customers across Northern California. We're going to have a list for you to look at on our website, abc10.com. So of course, we're going to keep you up to date. We're going to have more on this today during our newscast at 5, 6, and 6:30. So make sure to tune in. Thank you.